Hey, it's Scott once again, and so today I'm doing a little bit of a follow-up to last week because I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go video this from the same spot, right just inside my garage with my house, my driveway behind me. Now I know it'll be washed out in that because of how bright it is, but I'm gonna show you a little bit because last week I talked about the importance of being flexible and adaptable. I was dealing at the time with, well, we were in the middle of about a 18-inch dumping of snow over the course of a couple of days. I think it ended up being just about 2 feet we had over the course of 3 or 4 days. It just kept coming. It would stop and then come again, stop and come again. But then we also had the cold. We were dealing with, below zero. In fact, we set a record here for our area just 2 nights ago at 25 below. Not wind chill, just regular Fahrenheit degrees. So I'm just going to kind of pan around so you can see what we've been dealing with the amount of snow that we've had to kind of deal with. But as you can see, I'm squinting because we finally have the sun out. The sun came out the last couple days. I'm going to say it's been really nice, even though it's 14 degrees right now. But this is what we've been dealing with. And so I talked that last week about being flexible, and adaptable. But here's the thing to consider. Not only do you have to be flexible and adaptable, but then you also have to be ready to move forward and then be flexible and adaptable again in other ways. So the first way that I was talking about being adaptable physically for us that, last week was the concept of making sure that I dealt with all the snow and having to shovel snow, and I wasn't able to be inside doing my work that I had to do. But then also physically we had to deal with the fact that we had to be adaptable because of the freezing cold. So I had to get firewood, and I had to do that much more for that. Every step of our lives are filled with moments where we have to be flexible and adaptable. And just because you get flexible and adaptable and you deal with something doesn't mean you're done. It just means, okay, I've dealt with that. I've handled what needed to be handled. Now what? And so we have to recognize this quality of flexibility, this quality of adaptability is a critical component that we understand we must continuously have and have on a consistent basis. My written post this Friday is going to deal with that, in fact, that concept of being consistently adaptable. And so understand that just because you're adaptable to a situation, okay, hey, we adapted, we handled it, you can't stop there. Because at any given moment, here comes the next one. And how are you going to handle it? So think about that, coaches, in games, in game settings. Or think about it in some of your practice settings, the variety of settings that you're going to find yourself. Are you adaptable to what's going to come your way? I think I mentioned last week the situation where, or maybe it was in a written post, where, facilities. We had our football coach a couple years ago, first day of football. He's taking over the program. He's excited. Here it is. It's the first practice day. And he gets to school for their morning practice at 6:15 or 6:30, whenever they're going to have their first practice. He's excited. He can't get in the locker room. They have literally walled the locker room door up because they were doing a renovation. And so he's like, what do I do? Well, he had to improvise. He had to adapt. He had to overcome. But at that moment, okay, once he did that for that moment, is that it? No, well, no. Then all of a sudden, certain kids aren't there. Then all of a sudden, well, maybe there's sprinklers going on the field. And then all of a sudden, and the list goes on and on. So understand that while we need to be able to be flexible and adaptable at any given moment, we also need to be flexible and adaptable in many given moments, over and over and over again. This concept of consistency keeps coming back to me in so many of the things that I'm writing about and that I'm talking with others about. And it's a real key to our success, is learning the importance of being consistent in the things we do. So it's going to be really important for all of us that we learn that adaptability is not a one-time thing or an every once in a while thing. It's something that we have to have and be ready to have on a consistent basis. More on this on Friday in our written post, and we'll talk to you next week. See you later.